The deadline to link your Aadhaar card with your PAN card expires today on the 30th of June. It's very important that these two are linked because at the end of the day, how much tax you will be charged gets calculated correctly based on your linkages between your Aadhaar and your PAN card. To put it simply, the Central Board of Direct Taxes is keeping a watch on it. So what happens? What are the benefits of linking your Aadhaar to PAN? And what will happen to you if, as of date, you haven't linked your Aadhaar card with your PAN card? To help us understand that, Karthik Malhotra now joins us in the studio. Karthik, talk to us. This was, people like us did it many years ago, but this is the final deadline, and it goes a long way in making sure our financial documents are linked in that sense that they're not in separate silos. Aadhaar is not in a separate silo and PAN is not in a separate silo. But if you can tell us what really is the advantage of linking this together?
So Krishna, deadline and finality don't really go hand in hand when we talk about linking Aadhaar and PAN. And it's another day, it's another 30th of June, it's another deadline. And should we consider this deadline as sacrosanct or not? I don't know. Given the number of times this deadline has moved and the flexibility that this deadline has held all these years, I'm not sure if we can reach a stage of finality today.
Fair enough.
But let's hope it is.
Okay.
It's been an issue which has been pending for many years now. In fact, before it was extended, 31st March 2023 was the deadline. Obviously, it got extended prior to that. 31st December 2022 was the deadline. So every quarter, the deadline moves by a quarter. But I think it's critical for the PAN card and the Aadhaar card to be linked. And why it's critical, let me try and briefly explain to you and to our viewers, of course. See, until Aadhaar was launched, PAN cards were easy to make. You would go to a broker, the broker would take some documentation, take your photograph, take your address proof and make a PAN card. Now, through the ingenuity that a lot of Indians have as part of their DNA, the same person had multiple PAN accounts, PAN numbers.
Okay.
So the same person could evade tax using PAN number A, PAN number B, C, D and attribute a different PAN number to different sources of income, eventually being able to evade taxes. On the contrary, the system was also not foolproof that the same PAN number was also given to multiple individuals, multiple citizens. So the decision was taken that because Aadhaar is a unique identity number and it goes with biometrics and not just which are unique to every individual and not just photographs and address proof and names and birth certificates. Since Aadhaar is absolutely unique and uniquely linked to an individual's mobile number, there was obvious case to link the PAN card also so that the income tax authorities know that it is one person holding one PAN card, one Aadhaar, and it is one unified identity of a person filing or evading taxes. So it's important for the income tax authorities to know that yes, the PAN card in existence belongs to a living person who has an Aadhaar card and is one unique individual. Now, what happens if you don't link? If you don't link it today, 30th June being the deadline, and hopefully a frozen deadline this time because it's been pending for a while, if you don't link it, number one, you'll not be able to file your income tax returns by end of this month. So 31st July is the deadline unless even that gets extended, which has happened in the last 3 years. Since
good that you talk about it because not all Form 16s have come through.
That's right.
There's a good chance that the July 31st deadline for filing income tax returns could also get pushed. But for now, we're on the deadline of linking Aadhaar with PAN card. Go ahead, Karthik.
So if you don't link it, you'll not be able to file your income tax returns, number one. Number two, if there is any previous income tax return that you filed and there's a refund due to you, that's not going to get credited back to your account, so you end up losing. And in addition to that, any sort of case that comes up against your PAN number, against your PAN card, you will not be able to contest it. So in case that PAN number is available strangely with somebody else who has defrauded or has evaded a certain tax call, and if that PAN number gets in the scrutiny of the income tax authorities and they reach out to you, there is no way that you will have any case to be able to absolve yourself of the responsibility of that PAN number because your Aadhaar is not linked to it. So I think it's a very simple two-step process, literally. We have excellent internet penetration and smartphone penetration in the country. All that individuals need to do is log on to the income tax website, that's www.incometax.gov.in. Right on the top menu, there is a link Aadhaar button. You click that button, inch in your Aadhaar details, click submit, and the handshake is done. It is actually as simple as that. Everybody should have done it many years back. If not many years back, at least by end of financial year last year. If it's still not done, please go ahead and do it today and make the job of the tax authorities and your responsibility towards the country absolute.
Right, and we have Mr. Rakesh Khar also joining us, Group Editor of Business and Economy. Rakesh ji, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. A very important deadline, a quick take on it of linking Aadhaar with PAN card. It expires today. Are you also expecting this deadline to be extended again?
Hi, morning, Krishna and Karthik. I think, Government of India has been too patient. We've been extending the deadline. I don't know why we've been so kind. We must act against, all the errant, citizens who are not complying. This is basic hygiene now when it comes to, as Karthik was rightly pointing out, it has connotations and implications for, whatever you do in terms of your transactions. There is need to put that in spotlight. And, if you are connected, you don't need to worry. You can have a peaceful sleep and versus a sleepless night if the taxman comes knocking. So a little surprising though. I mean, I don't know how the citizens mind works in this case. Aadhaar, facial recognition, which is a recent addition or an innovation or an adaptation that has come about. There's been a massive jump in that, about 34%, and people are taking to Aadhaar as one basic hygiene and as a digital identity. So in that sense, whatever is, there is grudgingly though, when it kicked off as a mandatory thing, there was some resistance, but now Aadhaar is part of our day-to-day life as our digital avatar. But why this reluctance to, connect your PAN with Aadhaar and have a very, very peaceful way about how you transact yourself?
Right.
I wouldn't call for further extension. I would call for strict monitoring and enforcement and seeking out those who are not complying.
All right, you're asking for penalties for those who are not linking their PAN with their Aadhaar.
Because we've been very patient. I mean, I think there's been too many extensions of deadlines.
I think, fair enough.
If you are not adhering a deadline yourself, you will not have greater respect from the citizen, and they'll tend to misuse it.
All right, fair enough.